Hi, and welcome to day 23 of JanuDAILY. Hold on, I'm trying to be quiet. The kid's down for a nap. I have no idea how long I have, but I'm actually just setting up real quickly for my therapy session, which is my first in many, many years, but very necessary at this point in my life, if we're being honest. So I figured I would take it from my bed because why not? Although I'm going to end up having a clan of friends to join me, but that's okay. Anyway, this is your gentle reminder that therapy is good. The hardest part is setting up that first appointment. So if you've been thinking about it, do it, just go. I did therapy years ago in person. My life looked very different back then, so getting in person is a little tricky. And honestly, today I was supposed to have my kiddo in school during my therapy session, so I'm nearly certain he's going to wake up right at any moment, and this is going to be very tricky, but doing it virtually and very ready. Honestly, necessary, very, very necessary. So yeah, I'll check in after. I have lots to update you on. Hello. Therapy went really well. I actually really like that I could do it like via Zoom. Not a huge fan of having to have therapy with my 3-year-old son running around and interrupting everything I'm saying. Sadly, he was supposed to be in school, and school got canceled because I live in the South and we had snow like 48 hours ago. So that's how that goes. But in exciting news, I didn't say anything about this in the vlog all day. Like guys, it's almost 7 o'clock. So it's been a whole day. I have checked in here very little, but honestly, I've been busy. It's been a lot, but I didn't say anything and I didn't share this process as of yet because I didn't really know what to think. A friend who actually just texted me, hi Meg, sent me a link, or not a link, she sent me a whole description of the sourdough recipe she uses. I did rescue my starter. She had doubled in size this morning. She looked back to her normal self. So Brighty White is back with us, but she sent me a whole description of the sourdough recipe she uses. And I found out last night when I couldn't really fall asleep, you can proof sourdough in your Instant Pot on the yogurt setting. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that until I started Googling last night, because I know that my issue is the proofing stage, because my house is very cold and my house does not keep like a consistent temperature throughout. I don't know why I'm dancing, but it does not keep a consistent temperature throughout my home. And according to the internet, I would have to proof bread for about 15 hours for it to be fully proofed. I think what happened when I put it in the oven with the light on, it overproofed and then liquefied, which is not what you want. But guys, look. I proofed this little loaf in the Instant Pot on the yogurt setting for 4 hours. I did keep an eye on it. She's resting on the counter for 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna shape her again, and I'm gonna put her in the Vanity basket, and she's gonna hang out in there until tomorrow evening. But I think we might have it. I don't want to get too preemptively excited. I say that while I'm very excited. But I think this is the best it's looked at this stage. The first time I did this did not look like this. The second time I did this, it was liquid at this stage. So obviously not great. This is the best looking. The only concern that I do have is it did not come clean out of the bowl, which everything I'm seeing says that it would have come clean. I had to like scrape it out. So that's probably not a great sign. Perhaps maybe a little underproofed if that's the case, but she's shaped beautifully. So from here, after the 20 minutes is up, I'm gonna shape her again, and I'm gonna put her in a little Banneton and put her in the sink. I'm not gonna put her in the sink. I'm gonna put her in the fridge. She's gonna hang out in there. But anyway, sourdough aside, which kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about a little bit, is kind of in line with the whole therapy thing and some of the stuff I've been talking about a little bit this week, is to recognize when you're not feeling great and to do something about it. See your primary care, speak to a therapist, talk to a trusted friend who may then recommend that you do those things. Something that I was experiencing a lot of up until very recently was that I didn't have the desire to, nor was I finding joy in the things that ordinarily would bring me joy. So the fact that, as frustrating as this whole process has been, I am enjoying the fact that I'm enjoying it, because there was a minute that I was not enjoying any of these things, and I definitely was not in the kitchen this much. And I'm obviously in the kitchen a little bit more right now because I'm doing this kind of content, and it's important that I have something to share. But again, that was kind of the point, right? Was to make these sort of things more of a priority. That being said, I do have a list of podcasts and books and things like that that I think are worth a listen or a read if you are in a space that you're just not really feeling your best. And these are not things that are going to, how do I put this? Like I have to be in the right frame of mind to listen to certain types of content or read certain types of content. Honestly, if I'm being truly transparent, self-help and personal development and all that kind of stuff, I really only consume by audio. It just hits differently for me. I also appreciate that a lot of times it's the author reading the content. And so I feel like I'm getting like a very long-winded podcast episode. But I have to be in the right frame of mind for a lot of this stuff. And these are not the things that are gonna make you feel overwhelmed and make you feel worse about yourself. These things that I'm gonna recommend to you are content that I've consumed more than once at this point that are great for helping you feel empowered and recognizing that everything you need is already within you, and that you don't have to become or change everything about yourself. It's just about like reframing your mind and recognizing where your power lies, right? So I'll hop in here in a little while, probably post shower, so sorry. Also, I desperately need to wash my hair. I have not washed my hair. You probably know better than I do, because honestly, I truly don't recall when I washed my hair. It was a lot of days ago. So if you are looking for a great dry shampoo, I bought Arrowroot off of Amazon and refilled my little like good ass hair day thing, mostly because I didn't want to pay shipping on a refill from them. It's excellent. I almost think that the Arrowroot powder works better than the dry shampoo I'd used. So Cheyenne, thank you. So she recommended the crackers I made yesterday and the Arrowroot powder. And she's influencing all of you. What Jonathan always calls it, the via the. What is it? Via the what property? Via the
the transit property.
Transit. I am not a math person. Via the transit property, she's influencing all of you. So, all right, in 7 minutes, I get to check on my loaf again. I washed my hair, which I feel like, just on the scale of mental health, should be a metric. The hair is washed, which is a good thing. And I have a kitty, which is also a good thing. But as I promised earlier, I have a handful of books that I want to share with you that are kind of personal development. Some of them are, some of them are not. They're more just kind of in the category of, oh, like, I don't even know what category these would be in, honestly. They're kind of all over the place. I'm just gonna share what they are and forget about the classifications of them. How about that? Does that sound good? Okay, that sounds great to me. I'm about to have a golden retriever join me on this bed, which may or may not bring chaos. The first one, which is probably the most obvious, and when you're gonna be like, I've heard this a million times, skip, is, sorry, I'm trying to like adjust you. Okay, lay down. Okay. is Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. Now, if you haven't heard anything about Brené Brown, or if you've never consumed any of her content, she is a like professional researcher, essentially. And you might be like, what does that have to do with the personal development space? I get it. I first was exposed to her on a podcast. Oh gosh, it was called Being Boss. This was years and years ago. And she said a few things that like really like, ooh, okay, that hit a little close to home. Daring Greatly essentially dives into the whole concept of vulnerability. It is often presented as like a weakness, when in reality, it's the ultimate, what does she say? It's the most accurate measure of courage, which was really intriguing to me because, as you could probably tell, I'm somebody that likes to share. I find meaning in that moment of like connectivity, especially through vulnerability. It's something I've always enjoyed. I am the person that is often deemed like the oversharer, and I'm not doing it necessarily from like a selfish place, though I'm certain that that is what most people would assume. I'm doing it because I'm coming from a place of not wanting other people to ever feel alone in these feelings, and realizing that like, hey, I've been there too. Let's be in this together. And I was always made to believe that being this way was a negative, like it wasn't a positive thing. It was always framed to me as like being selfish because I liked to talk and I liked to share stories, and which if you want to look at it that way, sure, it could look like that. But if you understand the intention behind it, it's quite the opposite. And this book really just helped shift my whole perspective on this thing that I like kind of really like about myself, even though it was something that was always kind of made to be like a negative thing. So if you're somebody like me that like struggles with the concept of vulnerability, whether you're struggling to be vulnerable or you're already vulnerable but you've been made to believe that that's a bad thing, it's a great book. Okay, I guess I'll give you the warning. Actually, let me put a warning in here. If you have little ears around, let's do some earmuffs. Earmuffs? Cool. The book is called Unfuck Yourself. It's by Gary John Bishop, and I'm actually gonna just read this description to you because it was really spot on. This is a refreshing, BS-free self-empowerment guide that offers an honest, no-nonsense, tough love approach to help you move past self-imposed limitations. And that is exactly what this book is. I listened to this, which was even better because you could just imagine like the power behind the guy's voice. But it just, again, is one of those books that kind of calls you to the carpet in the best way. And so if you're feeling small, if you're feeling like you don't have much to offer the world, or that you're lacking courage and confidence, it's just, oh, it was a good one. Okay, this next book is called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And this book will have you believing you could do anything and it would actually be correct. The thing that I love about this is Jen is so real and honest and vulnerable and relatable, and she shares just all of these different authentic experiences that she's had that have offered her some pretty powerful life lessons, but the life lessons are almost universal. It's wild how she's able to do this because obviously she's taking very specific things that have happened in her own life, but somehow applying them more generally to experiences that most of us can relate to. And it shares like her journey essentially to becoming a confident and courageous person. But in the meantime, she's like leading you through that journey of your own at the same time. I don't know how she does it, but it's funny, it's witty, it's powerful, and it will definitely have you believing you can do anything. In fact, I was helping a life coaching client earlier. I don't still life coach. I'm a certified life coach, but I don't still do it. I just happened to do it for a friend earlier this year because they asked, and I recommended this book, and she was like, this book is gonna have me quit my job. Don't quit your job. But it will make you believe you can do anything, and I actually believe that it's true. You can do anything. Definitely, like if I could recommend anything, I would recommend to listen to this one because Jen narrates it herself, and she's spunky, and I like spunk. Okay, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is technically like geared and targeted towards creatives. However, I do think it's a valuable read or listen, even if you're not in the creative space, because it takes courage and confidence to be creative, which is kind of hilarious because those are generally the things that most creatives are lacking. So it's like this giant cosmic joke that like, hey, I've given you the gift of creativity, but you don't have the two things necessary to bring that to fruition. It's painful. It's very painful. But if you are feeling like you are in a space of lacking those two things, confidence and courage, there are so many powerful nuggets in this book that are just worth being exposed to, even if you're not in the creative space. So highly recommend. And this last one, not technically a personal development book. I think this would technically be classified as simply a memoir. It's Matthew McConaughey's Green Light. And it is a memoir. He is taking you through his experience of his life, but he's doing it in a way that is like, it honestly, and I don't even necessarily want to make this correlation because it's not accurate, but like the whole book felt like little series of like proverbs where it's just these little short stories essentially that have such a powerful lesson to take from each one. And each one, first of all, he narrates it. So if you can listen to it, I'd listen to him read the phone book any day of the week. But the way he's able to frame certain situations and certain experiences has actually helped me reframe how I look at certain things. But it also truthfully helped me make more confident choices and be more confident in the choices that I'm making. Now I'm just gonna go through, I think I have like 3 podcasts to recommend here. Again, not really personal development, more so in like, you kind of have to comb through these and see which ones are interesting to you. But The Diary of a CEO, which is Stephen Bartlett, I think that's how you say his name, Bartlett. The Jay Shetty podcast and the Lewis Howes podcast. All 3 of those feature really powerful guests on topics that are just so important to discuss. But these guests are also a range of people, from like full-on celebrities, high-powered CEOs, obviously, to just normal, everyday, regular people. And the topics that they're discussing and the experiences that they're sharing are just so powerful and will help to just kind of, I don't know, like even the playing field a little bit and just make you realize that the humanity of everything and how ultimately like we're all just like spiritual beings having a human experience. It's really, all of these podcasts, just, there was a period of time, this was a year and a half ago or so, that I was taking a walk every single day and I was religiously listening to one of these episodes. Usually I'd put them on YouTube. You can find them on like streaming platforms too, but mostly YouTube, and really powerful. Just if you're looking for some like oomph. So anyway, those are my recommendations. Nothing revolutionary. Some of these are things you probably already knew, but they are it is content that has made a difference in my life. Oh, one other thing, not really like a personal development, but My Mind and Me, the documentary by Selena Gomez, really helped me feel a little less alone in this mental health journey. So if you're just kind of teetering a little, maybe worth a watch for you as well. I also just really like Selena Gomez, but it was nice to see, again, someone so seemingly have it all experience some of the same struggles. So anyway, those are my recommendations. I realized this was a bit of a different video, but again, we're doing what we can. We're patchworking vlogs together while we have very jam-packed work days and a lot of craziness happening all at once. So that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. If you resonated with this content at all, or if you just feel like you and I could be friends, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have a book recommendation or a podcast recommendation that you think I or anybody reading the comments might enjoy. And I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.